Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Search. I'm joined today after a couple of weeks off by Helder Martins. And Helder's a candidate of ours that we've worked with previously, has been in recruitment for a very long time, across a couple of businesses. But I'll let you tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm elder, like the elder brother, but with an age. Originally from Lisbon, born and raised. And then because I got into recruitment, I just decided that London was the place to be, a
Yeah.
little bit like the song. And to me, London has always been like the big apple of Europe. So it did make sense to move over here. Yeah, and it's been a long time now, 12 years in recruitment.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy it. So that's why I'm still here. Yeah.
So when
And
you
congratulations on your newborn before we
thank you
go
very
on.
much, mate. Yeah, thank you. It's been a hectic 2 weeks, but I needed to kind of have a break from everything and switch off for a little bit, which was lovely. But I'm very happy to be back and doing this again. So it's been amazing.
Good stuff.
Question I had for you, Elder. Right. So you moved from Lisbon to London. When you
Yeah.
did that move, did you know that was because you wanted to do recruitment? Was that a move that you made for that purpose, or just because you wanted to work in London?
No, so it was for recruitment, effectively. So I was working with an agency in Portugal.
Yeah.
It was a small agency, small office, and at that time, the country itself wasn't in a good position. So it was 2010.
Yeah.
Recession was coming in. Lisbon was just struggling. Portugal was struggling, as many of the other countries in Europe. And I had my first son just born, and I just decided, well, I would either take the risk right there, or I would just have to kind of survive
Yeah.
and see how things would go. So I just decided to leave, and yeah, London made sense because my competitor, or my biggest competitor, was in London as well. So
Yeah.
that's why I decided to move here. Yeah.
And if you was to look back now, do you think it was a good move? Are you happy with the move that you made? Do you think that you could have done something differently?
No, to be honest, I would do everything the same. It was a big challenge. I'm not going to lie. It was difficult to adapt to the country, to the culture, to the weather, especially. The first couple of months, I didn't see blue skies, and I was like, "Wow, what's happening here?"
I would have thought the first
Um,
12 months and so forth afterwards, you've not seen any blue
yeah,
skies.
but it was fine. Looking back, I would do everything the same. Probably would change a few things, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was a great experience, to be honest. Yeah.
So how was your first role in recruitment? How did you get on? How did you progress? How did you find working in the British market?
So it was a little bit different because in Portugal, I kind of stumbled into recruitment. I wasn't planning to move into that. So I used to work as an IT engineer. And after doing a project for the agency that eventually hired me as a recruiter, I was working for them. I was just doing the network for them and
Okay.
establishing the servers, the clients, everything like that. And then I was listening to them on the phone, and one day I've made a comment, and I said, "Well, why do you guys say things this way? Don't say it that way." And the CEO caught on that, and he asked me, "Well, would you like to have some sort of role like a pre-sales and things like that?" And I said, "Yes." So when I've moved from there, this was in New Vibrations, and I stayed with them like for 3 years and a half, something like that. And when I've moved, the logical thing to be was, or to do, was to move to London. So I've looked at my main competitor, and I've reached out to them saying, "I'll be in the market. Would it be okay to have a conversation?"
Yeah.
And gladly they said yes. They've invited me in, and yeah, since then I've moved here. What I've realized that in the UK, it's very specialized in terms of what you do. In Portugal, there's a bit more, you do a little bit of everything, and in
Yeah.
here you specialize. And that gave me room to grow even more in what I was doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was very good. Yeah.
So when you say room to grow, is that because you were a specialist in a particular market rather than being, a jack of all trades in recruitment?
Yeah, it allowed me to focus more on one particular thing instead of going after everything, and that in terms of results does help a lot.
Okay.
And then you grow, and not only that, it also helps you like build your own brand, or you position
Yeah.
yourself better within that market. Yeah.
Fine. For any of those people that are moving to the UK to do recruitment, Do you think that there's opportunity to do anything else other than technology recruitment?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think, especially with Brexit, you see a lot of companies moving out.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of sales offices, London is still a big place.
Yeah.
And there's other areas, life sciences, yeah, the likes of the commercial areas also. Hospitality, I wouldn't say as much, but yeah, there's other areas that you can still do well in here. Yeah.
But maybe a bit of a hard question to answer, but if you could do any other market than what you do now, what would it be?
Probably I would go into, I don't know, into maybe media.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like just because of the side of being a bit more like social orientated.
Yeah. Fine.
And you have that link to new technologies as well. So yeah, maybe that.
Fine. So you spent a good few years at your first business, and then you moved over to Networkers and worked there for quite a while as well. Your experience in that, tell me about your experience there. Did you gain a lot more on the management side? Did you gain more on being more of an individual contributor and billing more? How did that pan out for you?
Well, I've always been, I'm a team member, but I can work by myself.
Yeah.
And Networkers was a good company, and I've enjoyed my time there a lot.
Yeah.
And it did change, like pretty much every single business is changing. Networkers has also changed. And there was a point for Networkers and for me that things were changing so rapidly that I could foresee what was coming next.
Sure.
So I changed internally. So I was doing infrastructure on the telco side, and I ended up moving to the IT side, mainly focused on telco as well. And with that, yes, I had to play the individual contributor as well on that sense, but I had a team behind me that would help me with that.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of business development and building new relationships and delivering against that. But it wasn't just me. So I always had a team, and I had a good team, pretty good, solid team. Yeah.
How did you find? I mean, put it this way, right? A lot of recruiters that I've spoken to have gone either way, to principal or to management route. How do you juggle your day-to-day running of your desk with the management of other people below you or around you, and how have you broken it up?
Well, to me, it's still a learning process, I'll be honest, and I think it will continue to be because every individual is different. And I like to have this kind of open door policy.
Yeah.
So we set up a goal and we know where we are and where we have to go. And then on the back of that, we'll just partner within the efforts that we have to do. And in some cases, if the individual is doing well, then he can just do things on his own and doesn't need a lot of mentoring or doesn't need a lot of attention. I'll just let them go and I'll let them use their own style and be as they want to be. Obviously, if I can see that something is going to go wrong, probably before they hit the wall, I'll just put my hand in front and say, maybe you should stop here, and advise them in a different way. But then, yeah, that's in terms of management. I try to let people be as unique as they can be, as long as it serves the business the business purpose. And I learn a lot from that as well, because some people will, with that freedom, they come back with new ideas, and even things that I'm doing, I look at them and I go like, actually, maybe I should adopt your style a little bit, or maybe I can improve on this because you're doing this way, and actually it works quite well. So yeah.
So rather than telling them how to work, this is how the business works, this is how you need to do things, forget about your old habits or methods, do what you want, work maturely, work the way that you want, and then we'll kind of make sure that we'll, help or juggle anything from there to make sure that it's successful, right?
Yeah, it's having that common goal that we all have to achieve. How are we going to do that? Yes, we need to have some guidance and some guiding lines that we don't fall back. Basically, you're not going to be lost, or you don't be at some point like, oh, what am I doing? How did I get here? You always know. You always keep track of what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be boxed in and do things that's just that way. Now, if you have your own way of doing things and if it works, then yeah, just do it.
Fine. So that leads you to kind of today's now, where you've taken a new job during COVID. Was that kind of a plan that you needed to do? Was you kind of out of work? Talk me through your mindset during this whole transition into a new position.
Yeah, well, COVID actually, I would say, came as a blessing for me. I
Okay.
know that around the world, yeah, this is a big thing. There's a lot of negative impact, and I can see also in a few coming years the negative impact that this will still have. I was on furlough from the last company that I've joined, and then at some point, we've realized that maybe the business wouldn't be able to bring me back.
Yeah.
And because I have a good relationship with the manager there, or the CEO, and the team as well, we always had an open channel to speak. And I spoke with them, and we got to the conclusion that yeah, maybe I would have to look for something else. And I've never been worried, so I'm quite positive about the things that will happen and how they happen. And yeah, I just looked around. I actually had a few offers. It was quite interesting the way it turned out to be, because I was supposed to join one company, but then this opportunity came along, and it was just too good to be true. I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, wow, this is actually happening. And it was fairly easy, just having anonymous conversations with everyone and establishing expectations. I think it's the most important thing, especially during this kind of environment. I would say always, but especially now, because things are moving very rapidly and expectations can be quite high. But if people are not being real, most likely they will not achieve them. And then it's going to be disappointment both ways. And that can work negatively for whoever is looking for a new job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You said before that you envisage there being some changes long term, and you can see it now that there's a negative impact. What are you referring to exactly?
So what I would say, because I've did during furlough, I've joined as an NHS volunteer.
Yeah.
And most of the things that I was doing is just being on phone calls and speaking to people and just give them a bit of comfort and just make some company to them. Yeah, just for them to feel that they're not alone. Similar to what I do every day. I'm on the phone. So yeah, it was easy for me to do that. And I can see that mental health is going to become an even bigger problem. There's a lot of people struggling out there. And I think that some of them will not reflect straight away, but it will reflect in a few coming
Yeah.
years or yeah, months, I would say. Yeah.
Just that long term mental impact that you can see occurring.
Yes, exactly.
I had someone on here called Katie Maycock, about 2 or 3 episodes before this, and she was talking about mental health, and that's her job, is mental health in recruitment specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And her company's called like Get Your SH, asterisk T together, right? I can say on a podcast, just get your shit together, right?
Yeah.
So basically, she is working with people, like you've just mentioned, to prevent that problem happening long term. Obviously, she said the same as you. She envisages, this being an issue maybe long term, and she's trying to prevent that and help as many people as possible. So that's why when you mentioned about you seeing having a long term impact, I was quite intrigued to hear what you were referring to exactly. But look, it is a tough time, but I do feel like, what do you think? Before I sort of give you my opinion, this second lockdown that we're in right now for another however long it is, do you think that's made things worse, or do you think people kind of used to it, or what do you think that's done to change, whether it's your mindset or people around you?
I think because we had the first one, this kind of makes this one a bit easier.
Yeah.
And I think because it didn't close schools, it makes it a lot easier. And it's in theory just for 1 month. If it's going to be extended or not, we don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that the initial shock has been broken now. So the concept of working from home, not going to the office, being at home, and all of that, it's already there. So we were prepared for this. For how long it's going to be, that's a different story. And if people actually accepted the first one, will accept the second one, that's also a different topic. But I think it should be easier in theory. But in a lot of cases, it can actually be worse, because people may not have handled it well on the first time. So why would they do it on the second time? It's very tricky.
Has it affected your business and what you're doing? Or are you kind of business as usual at the moment with your team?
We are still business as usual. So I think CPL was quite agile in the ways of thinking and working. So they have this hybrid mode anyway. So you can work from home and you can work from the office. You don't have to go to the office every single day. And if you feel that you stuck at home, you can go to the office and see your colleagues and your peers and have a little bit of banter in the office. And socialize a little bit. So it didn't have a massive impact. And we were prepared for this one even. So yeah.
Those businesses that have had that initial setup there with that, hybrid model and flexible model have really not changed at all in this instance. The only thing they've had to change is adapting to the market differences and changes that they're seeing, and that's it. Otherwise, their culture and their business is pretty much the same, which is fantastic with everything going on considering. So, and with regards to where you are now, do you want to just tell me and those listening a little bit more about kind of where you are trying to take things over the next few months? And, if there's anyone listening that are looking for work, where can they potentially see themselves fitting into a business like yours?
Yeah, well, so at CPL is a large group,
huge
HQ in Ireland, and they've been in the market for 30 years now. We work with some big clients within the tech space. We also do other areas, and for me personally, I'm focusing on the tech recruitment. Obviously, that it's a long field to cover, but one of the reasons I've joined is because I want to do meaningful kind of recruitment. So I want to be working in things that I see that will bring added value to the communities, to the world, to whatever. It is a bit utopic, and maybe I'm a dreamer, but I'm glad I am. We need more of these. And I'm focusing mainly in the health side of things, in med tech, educational tech as well, green tech, all those technologies that I see that, yes, they will benefit the world. So we'll focus largely on that.
Fine. And is there a growth plan for the business over the next few months for your team and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm actually looking to hire, but I just have to wait a little bit more because I don't want to be bringing anyone in and kind of in a involuntary, without wanting to, possibly making them or set them for failure. If I'm completely honest, because the market is changing so much that bringing someone in and having these expectations and then they're not being able to deliver. So it's not right. So we will be growing. We are growing actually. We have a lot of projects coming in, and there's a lot of work to be done. It's just understanding if we can forecast the best way we can. When are we bringing the people in, and then how are we going to grow that? Because we do have a bold plan to go after. So
Fine. And kind of on more of a fun note, because it's been really interesting talking to you, Helder, and I've never spoken to anyone with the kind of mentality and the way that you see things in recruitment, especially in the market that you recruit in as well, is interesting. What would you advise anyone who is in recruitment for their first year to 2 years that are looking for the inspiration that you can provide, with your experience? What would you, advise them?
I think most of the recruiters, what they need to do is keep the mindset positive.
Yeah.
And it's having this resilient mode, like taking no's is okay. People will be always saying no to you because no is always guaranteed. But if you don't ask, then you don't know, right? So, and it's having your desk as your own radio show. Just do it. And just keep people engaged, because if you're going to be like monotone and you feeling down and things like that, and you're going to speak to someone, then that other individual will be like, why should I speak to this guy? This is a waste of time. There's no energy. There's no enthusiasm. There's no nothing. So if you've been 1 year, 2 years, most likely you want to stay. Otherwise, you would have been gone already. And just make things like it's your own part. It's your own show. So make it lively. Be welcoming, be ethic in what you do. Don't say stuff that you cannot commit to. And it's okay to listen to no, and it's also okay to say no. So just have as much fun as you can.
Fine. I've just taken so many notes here. Sorry. So just loads of interesting comments that you've made. But I really appreciate, everything that you've gone through with me today. I'm glad I got you on. I was having a look, a couple of weeks ago thinking, I wanted someone who's been in the game, obviously, for as long as you have, that's done different things from different places and sees things potentially differently. And I spoke to Tren, who you worked with, and she really recommended someone like yourself. So I can see why she did, because she said she got on incredibly well with you at the same time. And Yeah, from everything you said has been fantastic. So I really appreciate you taking the time out for this, Helder. If anyone's got any, if anyone's got any questions and they want to have a chat with you directly, I'll put your name and your contact on the post for this. If they want to reach out to you through Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, whatever they want to do, they can. If they've got any questions, just tell me. I'll put them in front of you. It's not a problem at all. And I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. And if there's anyone out there that's looking for any tips in terms of like searching for jobs and what to do, what not to do, yeah, reach out. I'm more than happy to share my experience, and if I can help, I will help. Not a problem.
Fantastic. That's what we need from more people, definitely at the moment. People that can, I suppose, share their experience a lot more and help others out there that might need it.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes just like a 2-5 minutes conversation, and you can change a lot. So yeah, why not? It's easy.
No, I completely agree with you. Again, thank you so much. Helder, we'll be in touch, and I'm sure I'll speak to you soon anyway.
Sure, we'll do so.
Cool.
Yeah,
Take
have
care.
a great day. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.